Now you've probably experienced one of these brake symptoms at one time or another. Grinding when applying the brakes. Squeaking as the wheels are turning. Scraping or swooshing sound. Low brake pedal. Brake pulsations. Now if you checked yes to any of these symptoms that you just seen, chances are you're going to need brakes soon. Head on over to 1aauto.com where we have brake parts and kits available for your vehicle. So you're probably wondering, why do I need brakes now? Well, it really comes down to your driving habits. Are you pretty aggressive with that brake pedal when coming to a stop? Now doing a lot of city driving, you might be dragging those brakes or using those brakes a lot. Or if you're on the highway and you have a lot of aggressive braking in traffic or exiting the highway. Now, if you have an automatic transmission vehicle, you're going to be using the brakes a lot more than if you had a manual transmission. We could downshift using that transmission to slow the vehicle and then apply your brakes. Now you can have abnormal or excessive brake wear due to improperly installed brake components. Now this truck was brought into our shop because it had 2 of the 5 symptoms on that list. Number 1 was a low brake pedal. Number 2 had a rotational scraping sound. We weren't even applying the brakes when that happened. Now how do you know what to look for? Let's get into it. Now we're going to start underneath the hood here. Go ahead and locate that master cylinder reservoir. You want to check that fluid level. Now there should be a max line and a min line. You can see here that our reservoir itself is pretty low, and that's a concerning factor right now. The other concern is that you want to pay attention to the fluid condition itself. It should be somewhat opaque. If it's a dark brown or black, that's going to be another concern. You want to go ahead and perform a brake bleed service on something like that. Now that we've checked out our fluid, we're now going to take a look at our brakes. Now you want to go ahead and inspect all of the brakes. We've already inspected the front. What we did was we went ahead and rotated the wheel with the vehicle jacked up, and there was no noise there. Now on the back here, we already removed our wheel. You can do this process without removing the wheel, but we went ahead and did that. Now I want to go ahead and rotate our rotor here. I'm simply going to use a pry bar between the studs to make it easier. And I'd say that we found our issue here. Now we found our scraping noise. Let's go ahead and find out what's causing it. Now right away we found that our outer brake pad had nothing left to it. This piece right here is the metal backing, and there should be some pad material here. So it looks like we are metal to metal at this point. Let's go ahead and inspect the inboard pad. Now looking through the window right here in our brake caliper, right here is the piston itself, and then inboard here is the brake pad, which is the metal backing. There is no material left here, so it's just like the outside. Now when inspecting your pads, you want to go ahead and pay attention to the pad thickness itself. Clearly we have nothing left on the outer or the inner. Now if you have pad material on the outside and nothing on the inside, that's an indication that something else is going on. It could be a caliper problem, or that the pads themselves are sticking in the slides, causing premature or abnormal wear. Now if you're hearing that scraping or squeaking sound while the wheel is rotating, but yet you're not applying the brakes, that could be a good indication of a rust ridge. And you're going to find that right around the upper edge of the brake rotor and on the inboard portion where the brake pad itself has worn into the brake rotor itself and leaves a big rust ridge here. That's going to cause that scraping on the pad, and it can cause that noise. Now that we know what we need, let's go ahead and replace our brakes. Now when performing the brake job, you always want to do the pads as well as the rotors. If you replace just the pads, you're not going to end up with good results. Now performing a brake job, you always want to do them in pairs. So we'll want to go ahead and repeat for the other side.